Hi, my name is Petri Kainulainen and today we will learn to parse date information from a request parameter by using the datetime format annotation. Let's get started. I have created a controller method that processes post requests sent to the URL /API/datetime/date. The name of this controller method is processDate and it takes a Java 8 local date object as a method parameter. This method parameter is passed from a request parameter called date. The question is, which date format do we have to use when we set the value of the date request parameter? I have also created two unit tests for the processDate controller method. The first test ensures that the controller method returns the HTTP response status OK, and the second test ensures that the correct local date object is passed forward to the service method. At first, I tried to specify the value of the date request parameter by using the ISO date format because I assumed that it's supported out of the box. The problem is that it doesn't work. When we run these unit tests, we notice that both of them fails. The reason for this is that the conversion failed exception is thrown. The good thing is that we can fix this by using the datetime format annotation. Let's find out how we can parse the date information from a request parameter if we want to use the ISO date format. If we want to use the ISO 8601 date format, we have to annotate the method parameter with the datetime format annotation and set the value of its ISO attribute to datetimeformat.iso.date. When we run our unit tests, we notice that both of them passes. This is nice, but sometimes we need to use a custom date format. Let's move on and pass the date information from a request parameter that uses the Finnish date format. If we want to use a custom date format, we have to annotate the method parameter with the datetime format annotation and configure the used format by setting the value of its pattern attribute. When we change the value of the request parameter that's used by our unit tests and run our unit tests, we notice that both of them passes. In other words, we are now able to parse date information from a request parameter by using either the ISO date format or a custom date format. Let's summarize what we learned from this video. There are three things that we should remember when we use the datetime format annotation. The datetime format annotation supports all date objects, long objects, and JODA-time. Also, if we use Spring 4 and Java 8, it supports the new date and time API as well. If we want to use the ISO 8601 format, we have to configure the used format by setting the value of the datetime format annotation's ISO attribute. If we want to use a custom format, we have to configure the used format by setting the value of the datetime format annotation's pattern attribute. That's all. If you want to get more Spring tutorials, you should take a look at my website www.petrikainulainen.net.